This is why I told you to pick the lettuce when I was away. It's busting out.
That's growing real fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna have some salad today. And the other stuff is growing really nicely too, so. So what difference does 1 or 2 months make? Because I saw what we were doing back in, like, I don't know if it was April or May, I think it was May. And look at all the weeds that have moved in here. We haven't finished the gazebo, and I think what we're gonna need to do is probably like take a torch and just like torch all these, because we have to still get, like, August or September, we're gonna have some of the stonemasons come in and actually finish the pathway around here. So hopefully that will take out some of the weeds. There's a lot of bindweed here. Luckily everything's kind of raised up, so we haven't had bindweed in the raised beds. And then I'll show you kind of more of what we've done here. So this is the Lonicera Kintzley's Ghost that I'd planted earlier, and now you can get a better sense of what I mean about how it gets that powdery blue color and it gets the flowers kind of here, and they're past their prime of flowering, but boy oh boy, like 2 months ago, the little yellow flowers, I mean, the pollinators were loving this. I thought it would actually spread out more, but right here, this part actually started to, there was like a small tear in it, and I had to cut it off. So it was like, that was the tallest little tendril. And I think what happened is I didn't take any of this flower tape, and it was just kind of rattling against it, because it doesn't have little grippers or grabbers like you would with like a heterohelix, like an ivy or a clematis. Kind of gets those little grabbers and twirls around, but this one doesn't. So you need a little flower tape to kind of train it up. But I love the color of this. I loved how the pollinators were reacting to it early on. So I think this is, next year will probably be much more floriferous and be probably covering the gazebo. Then on this side, I have 2 clematis, and I didn't know which ones I would like better. So I kind of planted both, but you could see that one, I think, is a much better trailer. This one almost seems bushy. I don't know if it starts to tendril a little afterwards or what the deal is, but one is Mrs. Robert Bryden and the other one is Clematis Bernadine. But you could see that this one already has kind of the tendrils. I'm not even really training it up. It's starting to get some flowers on it too. You can see this one right here. This one, little guy right here, is gonna start blooming. And these are more of that kind of like icy, bluish, white, maybe like a little hints of lavender. And again, I wanted something not to contrast with this, but actually to match it, because I thought that would be kind of cool just to see these kind of, as if this is starting to come alive, you know, with this icy blue color. Then I planted some beans over here. We ended up planting beans in the raised bed, but if we didn't have a cloche over the top of them, then our Chubby, our groundhog, would come over and eat the tops off. So I just started to plant them over here, and these are long beans, these Chinese long beans, and I think I have a dragon tongues bean here, although that's more of a bush kind. But the beans get these really long red beans, and they're very ornamental, but they're also edible. So I figured we could try that. And then this one is the last one that we have to plant. And you can see that I just have these on these cinder blocks right now. And just to reiterate, initially we're just gonna have them on the cinder blocks, but that's temporary. And these are temporary too. I'll probably plant these up and, you know, put them out as like an opening to the gazebo. But the idea is for Saunders to build, you know, basically these raised beds and then a seat, a curved seat and a raised bed on this side. So they will be around this height. And then we could just kind of pull the plants out and replant them again. And I don't know if we'll get to that this year or whatnot. So we're just gonna try it out. And what did I get? Well, we went to Lee's place at Der Rosenmeister Nursery. And if you have seen that video, one of the things that he had showed us is this beautiful rambler called Saunders White Rambler. And I was like, oh, we should get that for Saunders. So Lee and I had this, this little tete-a-tete on the side and said, hey, well, let's surprise Saunders with his own rose. But the gentleman who bred this hybrid, his last name was Saunders. So that's how it got Saunders White Rambler. So you'll see this, it's about a 1.5 to 2 inch double rose. It has like maybe 20 to 40 petals, and it gets pretty floriferous. You could see that it was like kind of past its prime, but it is an aggressive rambler, and so it'll grow probably 12, 18, 20 feet over the top, and it gets this really glossy green foliage. And one of the things that Lee from Der Rosemeister Nursery really specializes in is cold hardy, disease resistant roses. Now, I think this will be hardy to our zone. Where Lee is slightly warmer. It's like more of a zone 6. We're on the border of zone 5, 6. So hopefully this will be cold hardy enough. But we're gonna plant it up in there, and I'll be using some rose tone. So perfect for your roses. If you want to do a little fertilizer, especially during the growing season, you could come out and you could sprinkle a little rose tone for every month, I would say, during the growing season. And this is an organic fertilizer. I'm going to read the back of it for the directions, but I believe if you're establishing a new rose, it's about a cup to a cup and a quarter. And I might do a little less than that because I know Lee already fertilizes his roses, and we're not going that much size bigger within the pot. And then I have some raised bed mix, which I use heavily here. And I also have some leftover potting mix. So I'm going to put the potting mix in first because I have that already. And I'm going to just put this over the hole.
You know, we could also make little shelves and tables next to the seat and put the pots on that instead of building the plant pot into the seat.
Well, that's true too. I mean, I'm game for... The pots are really lovely. I wish unfortunately this one has a much darker color than these. I didn't get to pick them because I ordered them and they sent whatever choice online, but I think that's okay. This is probably gonna darken over time. But yeah, the pots are nice, they match. I'm kind of like trying to go matchy-matchy over here, which I don't always do. So I could go either way with this potting medium or raised bed mix. It's just that I use the raised bed mix, and I think all of these over here. So, and it seems to be working out really well. So I'm just gonna open up the rose tone. I gave some of this to my mother. She has some roses as well, and I gave her some of that. I'm gonna spread this within the first inch of the soil basically, and then we'll water it in. So let's see, this is already kind of a long, he gave us a big one. So I think this will be a perfect size pot for it, but it may eventually outgrow this pot. So that's something else to think about. One thing is, if we built the raised bed, it could go down a little bit further. So that's another thing to think about. All right, so I'm gonna...
You might actually need to make it part of the seat so it can be bigger, has
right.
Space to grow in.
Right, deeper. All right, I'm gonna try to do this without getting, because I don't have my rose gloves on. I didn't even think about that this morning. All right, there you go, some beautiful roots. See that? And you could go back to Lee's video about how he actually propagates roses. And that one's nice and informative. All right, so I'm gonna do this. And this one it's already stuck to me. So we could actually train this up. And I did bring floral tape because if you wanna kind of wrap it around, because it's not like that clematis that just finds it, just kind of works itself around very easily. This one actually might be the most aggressive of all of our ramblers. And you know, the beans, they're more seasonal, like they're not going to, the beans are not gonna grow over the course of next year. I'm gonna have to replant those. So I'm just gonna break up the top a little bit. Take this out and put that in there. We're gonna position it more towards the middle. This is always the hardest part because you're working with a small pot and it's a messy proposition that you have to kind of get this all through the edges. Okay, I'm approaching just the top of this, and what I'm gonna do is just get the rose tone. And again, I don't have like a measuring instrument, which is so so bad at that, getting the measuring instrument out here. But I'm just going to put a little bit around the edges, and then I'm gonna put some of that on top. And I don't like to put it too close to the inner roots or the stem. Really, I don't want to put any fertilizer like that. So just because there's a chance of possibly burning the roots. A little less so when you're working with like an organic versus a synthetic fertilizer, but I'm just gonna put that around because it is the growing season, and I'm just gonna work that in and then just add a little more to the top, and then just to top it off and kind of bury it in. And then once you do that, you water it in. And again, you could come out here, we're doing this in really early July, and you could come out here again in like August and September, and then probably forgo on the October because it's starting to get more towards the colder months. Can't believe it. Things move fast here, seasons move fast. But yeah, that's basically where we're at with it. And then let me get some floral tape. So again, this is like just a floral tape. It's basically just glorified Velcro. And you could just get a chunk of that. I've just brought this in from Brooklyn because I was like, oh man, this is what I needed for that Kintzley's ghost. But you could decide on which way you want to train it and just delicately put it over like this. I think what happened with the Kintzley's ghost is that I didn't use any floral tape, and it was banging against the gazebo, which is essentially a glorified trellis right now. And with the wind, it probably like broke the stem. So it's helpful if you don't have something that readily takes to the surface. And then you could also direct it on where you want it to go, because you might want this one a little bit further here. And you'll see a little bit of the floral tape, but believe me, as this starts to bush out, you're not gonna be focusing on the floral tape. It's really nice to see that we had just a little bit of a hint of flower. And I would say that from what I know from Lee, this has a scent, but it's not really redolent of, I guess it has a little bit more of a citrusy undertone, but it's not like one of those extremely scented roses. I'd say it's probably more on the moderate side. But it will be nice enough, I think, coming down here, and then you'll get a scent of that rose, and then you'll see this gazebo. Fast forward, imagine like 2 months from now or a year from now, and having this gazebo dripping with flowers and pollinators. I think it'll be really beautiful. You know, maybe even some of our friends will want to get married here and like photograph towards Half Lake. I think that it'll be a very beautiful setting in general. But that's it for now. I'll water this in and we'll go from there. Although we will be having rain pretty soon. So maybe I won't water it in too much because they don't like too much of wet feet. So you want to make sure that you have really good drainage. All right, guys, see you later. We'll be continuing to work on our gardens here at Flock as the summer heats up. In the meantime, if you enjoy what we produce here at Flock, do us a favor and hit like, subscribe, and the notifications button. And if you can, please do tip. We commit 10% of our Google AdSense revenue back into community projects in the Finger Lakes, and that's matched by our partners over at Espoma Organic. So your support goes a long way, even if you're not in our neck of the woods. We'll see you in the next video here at Flock.